What's up, everybody, and welcome to What's in Your Glass. As you know, I'm your host, Carmelo Anthony. Before we get going, let's first welcome today's guest. Please welcome to the show, pianist, record producer, songwriter, and most importantly, musical arranger. I like how that sounds, man. I like how that sounds.
Word up.
Robert Glasper.
What's up, y'all? What's up? We out here,
man. Indeed, talk to the people. Talk to the people, man.
Indeed, from the east to the west coast now. I'm on the west coast now, Jack.
We were talking about that off air.
Yeah.
How does that feel coming from east to west?
It's different. It's totally different. But because the East Coast, I was in New York for 23 years, so the energy is just a whole different thing there. Everything is, go. Everything's tight and everything's here. But here it's like it's more, for all better words, more mellow, if you will, and you know what I'm saying, more chill, and it's just a different vibe. I have a baby girl; she's 16 months, so right before the pandemic, we moved out here. This was just better for her too. You know what I mean? Just to be in this vibe.
Copy.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the transition from the East Coast to West Coast.
Yeah.
But let's start it off and take people all the way back to the beginning of growing up in Houston. For those who don't know, like your mother sang jazz and blues professionally.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in that musical household, and like what influence that her musical background have on you?
Man, that was everything. Cause my mom, I always joke and say my mom was Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act, because she sung at all the clubs during the week, jazz clubs, R&B, funk clubs, did Broadway stuff, sang in country, like literally there's a barn she used to play at on the weekends, a barn that was for country music. So she was just all about all music. And then on Sundays, she was the minister of music at church. You know what I mean? So that's why I say she's a Whoopi Goldberg. I used to joke with her all the time about that. So in my household, you never know what you're going to hear. You know what I mean? It was just always all kinds of music. That's why to this day, my palette is so eclectic with all kinds of stuff, because that's how I grew up, with no blurred lines in between. You know what I mean? And my mom was like locally famous. People Elijah Wan used to come see her every week.
Facts.
Yeah, Elijah Wan, I'm serious. Hakeem came. And Louis Tom Donovich used to come all the time. Akeem was trying to date my mom. She was like, I swear, she used to bring me back pictures, and like he wrote some autographs on napkins. She was like, he really likes me. I was like, so mom, what are you doing? What's up? We gotta figure this shit out. It's like, hey, man.
So did she? I mean, I heard that that she used to take you to some of her gigs, right? And
man, yeah.
And what was that like from what you can remember? Like, what was that like?
Man, my mom was not a fan of babysitters. You know what I mean? So we didn't have many people that could watch me in around. So whenever she couldn't find a person in the family to really watch me, she would just take me to the shows. I remember being 2 and 3 in the back of clubs while she's doing sets, and she had me in the back room, and like waitresses coming in and checking on me. Like literally, like I remember all those things from that early on, like being 2, 3 years old at rehearsals, and so all that stuff matters when you're around it that young. You don't realize it then, but it's soaking. It's coming. It's in you. You know what I mean? It's really in you. So yeah, man. It was for me. It was just regular life. But now growing up, I realized what an effect it had on me. And
you didn't. I mean, of course, you didn't have no clue or idea of what the effect was having on you at that age. So now as you got older, you realized that.
Look, I thought I was gonna be a basketball player.
Real
talk. I auditioned for the high school for the performing and visual arts when I was in 9th grade in Houston. That's an arts high school. So they specialize in music and acting and dance and all these things. So I auditioned for piano. I got in, and I ended up not going. I wanted to wait because I wanted to play basketball at the high school, the regular high school, because all my friends was gonna be there and stuff. And I was on the B team. I rode that bench the whole year. That's what made me be like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get serious about this piano. So I tell people all the time, I scooted that bench over to the piano and just kept it there and just did that shit. Because I might have played 2 games the whole season. It was not I realized like, oh, cause look, yeah, I realized it wasn't the vibe. So that's what made me because I was really into sports. I was into track, football, and basketball, hardcore, and when once I got to high school, I realized I wasn't as good as I thought I was. So
Was it easy? Was it easy for you to give basketball up and just be like, I'm focusing on this
absolutely,
piano?
absolutely, because I realized too, a lot of times your passion is not your gift.
Right.
And some people don't realize that until later in life, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? But there is a difference because piano came easy to me. I used to do it for fun. It came easy because of my bloodline.
Right.
But basketball, I had a passion for it. I really loved to play basketball. I really loved it, but I wasn't good at it. You know
Right.
what I mean? And then I just realized once I wrote that bitch all year, I realized that, you know what, let me just concentrate on my gift. Because when you concentrate on your gift, I think you get further in life. You know what I mean? When you really win, once you are a person that can realize the difference. This is my gift. This is my passion. This is my hobby. You know what I mean? Like
That's important. That's
those
important for sure.
those are so important. I think a lot of people get those things mixed up. And that's why you see 45-year-olds out here, 50-year-olds trying to learn how to do something,
Absolutely.
trying to jump into, oh, now I want to be an artist. You should have been an artist 30 years ago. But my mom, luckily, she let me know I wasn't good at basketball in her own nice way. She was like, yeah, baby, I think we should just.
Yeah, stick to the piano.
You know what I mean?
As a mom should.
As a mom should. I'm so happy she did that.
As a mom should. You got your start performing in church services.
Yeah.
Did you always enjoy performing and even that young and that type of setting? Did you enjoy that?
I loved it, man, because that's so funny. I was talking to somebody earlier about this today. A lot of musicians, especially from the Black church, we didn't realize, but you're getting training to be an artist already. Like I was playing in church when I was, in fourth grade on the piano, third, fourth grade in front of hundreds of people. So you don't realize it, but you're on stage in front of hundreds of people, talking to the drummer and the bass player, getting stuff right, blah, 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 playing with singers, all that stuff. You're doing shows. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. So that's what the training is earlier on. Then when you get older, you realize how easy it is for you. That's why you see all these the bands of Justin Timberlake and Beyonce and Usher and all those really dope bands. All their musicians and music directors come from church because we've been doing it for so long. It just wasn't on a big stage. It wasn't in the public eye. It was just in the church eye and at that service. But we've been doing it for so long. You know what I mean? So that definitely had an effect on me because people always come to me, oh, yo, do you get nervous? I was like, no, I don't get nervous. Like, why don't you get nervous? And I'm like, maybe because I've just been
doing it for so long.
For so long.
Right.
You know what I mean? And being on stage when you're a kid in school, the girls looking at you on stage. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh,
you don't want to fuck that up. You're not fucking that up.
No, hell no. You don't want to mess that up. That's a plus for the beginning. You know what I mean?
So speaking on the church services and somebody asked you about being nervous and not being nervous. Is that setting hard though? Like I'll give you some background. My mom grew up in the church. My mother was a deaconess. She just got her pastor license, a degree, whatever.
Nice.
However you say it. Yeah. So
yeah.
She's always been in the church. But I know people with friends who've been in the choirs and singing and pianists and just playing the instruments, and they get nervous in the church. But when they just playing regular, it's like, oh, this is whatever. Does the church give you that feeling of just like, damn, I have to be right, I have to do it right. Everybody is watching, even as a little kid, as a little kid.
Well, at first it did, but you know what? I think now it might be different because of social media, and now every church's got cameras now. You can watch church from your house, so the reach is further. So therefore, it could be probably a little bit more, oh, snap. You know what I mean? But when I was growing up, there wasn't no cameras. There wasn't no Instagram. There wasn't nothing. If you wasn't in them four walls, you didn't see it. You know what I mean? So for me, it was easy. But now I can understand why somebody may be nervous because that service is going to live forever. And people can watch it all the time. You know what I mean? But that's my question. Is there such thing as basketball stage fright?
It is. It is. It
I
is,
was wondering that.
and you see it. Like now that I'm telling you that, you'll pay more attention to that. Like you can see it. I think most guys or most athletes in general, when they first step out on the court, on the field, whatever, they feel something. Whether it's, they call it butterflies, you
Yep.
call it whatever. You just unsettling.
Yeah.
Guys got to go to the bathroom 2-3 times before the game.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's a form of nervousness. Now they may not say it,
Right.
but that's a form of nervousness. So yeah, people, even at the highest level, people still get stage fright.
Is that what Ben Simmons is going through?
I don't know. I don't think it. I think that's more like he got to figure his mental out. You know what I'm saying? He got to get his own mental right. Okay. And when he's ready and right, then he knows when he's ready and right.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I'm like, that has to be a thing. Like, do you know personally some cats who when they're at a big game, they don't play that well, but then if you do a pickup game somewhere, it's crazy.
Oh, for sure. That happens all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, dang. Yeah. Yeah.
That happens all the time. Stage fright is universal. That's all lanes, all genres. It don't matter who you is. You're gonna experience that at some point in time.
I've never heard anybody speak on it on a big way, but I feel like that's such a real thing.
And no, it's definitely a real thing. It's definitely a real thing. I mean, most people, the great ones would tell you, like, look, I get nervous, right? Stepping out on that court. Because you don't know, like for me, I get anxious a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So because you don't know, you have a game plan that you want to stick to the game plan, and then in the middle of the game, you just gotta adapt. You gotta go and you gotta adapt. So it's just like you just want to be right. You want to come out the gate right, and then once you feel like you came out the gate right, it's like, all right, cool. I hit my first shot, or I made my first pass, or I got a sweat. I feel more comfortable, confident. Now I'm ready to go. So it's very similar in a lot of different genres. I can say that. How, like, so, and also speaking on that, like,
are you drinking wine? Isn't this a what's in your glass thing?
It is a what's in your glass, and I just left my shit downstairs. I'm running.
You had me get some wine. I'm not drinking alone, Carmelo.
No, I'm going to get my wine. Don't worry about that. I'm getting my wine. Don't
I know you got a butler or something. Hey, did you yell at?
I'm going to go. Hey, Kalina!
See?
Can you grab me a glass of wine, please? Thank you. It don't matter. Yeah. They all kind of similar. So kind of going back to performing, right? Like eventually you attended I want to get it right, the New School for Jazz and Contemporary Music in New York, though.
Yep.
Like how did you adjust to the culture change that was in New York?
Man, look, when I first got to New York, I started going to all the little jam sessions, little clubs where they have jam sessions, and checking out the musicians. Because where I was coming from, came from Houston, I was like the best. I was one of the top in Houston. So, I had my little chest out, like, okay, I got to New York, bro, started going to these spots. It's so many amazing musicians in New York. A lot of the times, because you have to write your name down on the jam, when you go to a jam session, everybody writes their name down, then they call your name, you can go up and play, just to keep some order in there. Sometimes they would call my name, but by the time they call my name, I've already seen pianists that were so good, I would just go up on drums.
Damn.
Because I did not want them to see me play piano because I was scared. And that went on for about 2 years. I would go home after that and practice my ass off in the room. Practice. But I kept getting my butt kicked, which is what I needed. And it's so funny. To this day, I run into some musicians who thought I was a terrible drummer for 2 years.
Damn.
Because I literally just I'd rather you think I suck on drums than suck on my actual real instrument.
Right, which is the piano.
Which is the piano. You know what I mean? And so I'd rather that. But that was a great lesson for me, first of all. Where you're from is one thing, but you don't know if you're the best until you really go around, you know what I'm saying, and really see what's out there. Because there's always somebody that's going to challenge you, that's going to be better than you, at least better than you in the moment, you know what I'm saying, in that time period, you know what I mean? And then I saw that made me want to go in there and shed and practice, and that's how I got better. But I felt if I would have stayed in Houston, if I would have stayed one of the best in Houston, I wouldn't have grown, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I would have just sat in that and let everybody be like, "Oh man, it's like okay, But I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. You know what I mean?
Let's cheers now. Now that we're here.
Indeed. Cheers, my
Cheers,
brother.
cheers,
Boom.
baby. Cheers,
Absolutely,
cheers.
absolutely. Ah, yes.
I've been waiting for that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so speaking on going from Houston to New York,
Mm-hmm.
and how you just mentioned that Houston is more of a laid back. It's more laid back. It's a lot of culture, a lot of Southerners in Houston. More camaraderie, lots of camaraderie, lots of support. So you going and it's not that fast paced. So you going from one situation to the ultimate. New York is New York is New York. It's the hustle and bustle of New York.
Absolutely.
If you're not good at something, they're gonna let you know.
Absolutely.
Right then and there. So how did that play? How did that play on your psyche? Like knowing that you said you was afraid to go up there and play what you're known for, what you're good at, what you're great at.
Mm-hmm.
So you went up there and switched it up to the drums. Like how did that play on your psyche though?
I was depressed for a few. When I first got there, I was a little depressed. I was happy to be there, but it was like, dang. So I had to make a choice, like to really like use this as a lesson and get better. Or I know many people who have come and gone through that and went back home. You know what I mean? And that's when you the strongest survive. That's what they say. When you get out there, you really see who really want it and who really don't want it. You know what I mean? And I wanted it. So, and the good thing about that is too, I was in New York at a really good time of music, because when I first got there, I got there in '97, and that's when this whole movement, they call it the neo soul movement.
Absolutely.
That's the Jill Scotts, the Erykah Badu's, the Angelo, the Roots, and them was popping off. So they would do these jam sessions in New York, in the city, every week. And I was going, me and my boy Bilal, we would go there. We would go. I met Bilal in college, the first day of college. We were one of 7 Black people at the college. So, and he was from Philadelphia, so he knew all the people. So he introduced me to Questlove and the Erykah and the Common and all the cats, Q-Tip, Mos Def. So I got to be cool with them and go to those jam sessions every week and check that out and get to be a part of that. I was damn near a member of the Roots for years. I was playing with them all the time. You know what I mean? And so I learned a lot. I got to stay there and learn a lot. And then through natural progressions, it just did what it did. The wave took me, and I just rode the wave. You know what I mean? And it took me to places I needed to be, and make the connections I needed to make. Made the connections I needed to make, and New York was the best move I made. I couldn't have done it anywhere else.
So I assume that New York was very, very beneficial to not just your performance and not just your skill, but also for your confidence too.
My confidence as well, for sure. Because if you make it, that's not a false thing. If you can make it there,
you make it anywhere. Trust me, I know for sure.
You know for sure. Absolutely. Aren't you from New York?
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, yeah.
Born in Brooklyn. That's right.
I'm in Red Hook, yeah. So I already know if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Absolutely. Especially if you play ball in the parks. I got
it's so nice they named it twice up there, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro.
I want to talk about your professional career and just kind of your breakthrough on the scene. You began releasing albums like 02.
Yeah.
And you just had this whole this huge breakthrough with Black Radio. Which actually released in 2012.
Yeah.
It won a Grammy for best R&B album, and you had like you say your friend Bilal, Lupe, Badu, and so many others. Like, can you describe like what this time was like?
First of all, I didn't think I was going to ever get nominated for an R&B Grammy. You know what I mean?
Well, let's toast to that.
Boom, exactly.
Let's toast to that. Let's toast to that, because that don't happen. That don't happen often.
That don't happen, especially to a jazz musician. It don't happen often. So once I moved to New York, I used to live around the corner. Like after Bilal introduced me to cats, I lived a few blocks from Common. I lived a few blocks from America. She would come over to my crib and play tapes for, hey, I have this idea for this song. What do you think? Because I was everybody's jazz friend. You know what I mean? And I used to give Common piano lessons. I used to show him how to play Roy Ayers songs and stuff at his crib. You know what I mean? Like, so I was everybody's jazz friend. You know, so through the years, I accumulated these relationships with Jill and Erica and Common and Tip and Mos Def and Talib and all these rappers. You know. Even Kanye, I'm on Touch the Sky with Kanye.
Absolutely, of course,
I mean?
of course.
You know, so I've accumulated all these relationships with these people. So when I first got signed majorly in 2005, but I wanted to do just jazz albums first, just to make sure to solidify myself in the concrete as a jazz pianist, so people can't say shit.
Absolutely.
Once I move on to my hip hop R&B shit, you can't call me a hip hop R&B piano player. It's already recorded. That you got to respect this. You got to respect these hands. So that's what I made sure. So I did 3 jazz records that were #1 jazz albums on the charts, #1s. Boom, 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 boom. I was getting the respect, and I was like, all right, cool. Now it's time to do Black radio. That was on purpose. That was on purpose. You know, I wanted to do it in that order. And I waited 6 years on purpose because it's very, very important. And because especially as an African American musician and jazz artist, you know, people are very easily want to call you a hip hop pianist or R&B pianist. They don't want to give you that title of jazz pianist because that kind of
separates you.
It separates you, and it's an elite thing to be a jazz pianist, to get recognized as a jazz pianist. It's a thing, you know what I mean? And it's very hard to do that R&B hip hop first, and then try to come back and do some jazz. They don't let you in. They won't let you in coming from that. It's the opposite way you can get in. You can get in from jazz to hip hop and R&B if you do it right, but you can't go from R&B hip hop and go into jazz. It's not happening.
And that's interesting though. So why is that? Why do you think that is?
Because jazz people are snobs.
Okay.
A lot of the jazz world is snobs. You know what I mean? I got some snobbish in me too. You know, whatever. It's a little arrogant. It's a little bit of, well, we're jazz. You know, but the reality is, every genre, you have to pay attention and practice and really study every genre, because every genre has its own thing. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of jazz cats think they can just come because it's quote unquote simpler. You don't have to play jazz. The reason, I'll tell you why. The reason jazz musicians tend to have an uppity thing about them, and not all of them, I'm not saying every jazz musician, but as a whole, the genre is uppity, is because to play the music bad, to be a terrible jazz musician, you have to be fucking good.
Yes, I agree with that.
At your instrument. Just to play the songs, you have to pretty much master your instrument just to even play the music. You know what I mean? And that's why, because to play the music mediocre, you gotta be pretty much better than everybody else, other genres. To play R&B, you don't have to be technically good.
Wow.
To play hip hop, you don't have to be technically good. There are aesthetics you have to learn to make those genres what they are, that you have to pay attention to and you have to respect. But you don't have to be technically good at your instrument to play those genres. But jazz, you do. Classical, you do. Those are two music forms where you have to master your instrument in order to just play the music, even in a mediocre way. You know what I mean?
So even if you master your instrument, you still gonna be bad.
Absolutely, because you make bad choices. You know what I mean?
What makes somebody very good at? Okay, a master at an instrument.
Yeah,
but
because you just
shitty, like you just shitty.
Because you're good at the scales. It's like somebody that stays home and practices dribbling by themselves.
Okay.
But as soon as you put a fucking defensive person in front of them, they don't really know what to do.
Okay.
They don't know the science behind it. They have they could probably win that thing at, what did I do at All-Star? That, you know, and then you do what's that? The fundamentals.
The skills to shoot out.
First of all, I hate that. But the skills, nobody care about that shit. The skills challenge, okay. But there's some people who can win the skills challenge, but they can't win a one-on-one.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing with music. It's like you can win a skills challenge because you're in your house practicing scales, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as the whole, which is what I feel connects music and sports too. We can practice all we want by ourselves. When we go to work, it's always something new in front of us.
Yes,
It's never going to
absolutely.
be, we can never guess what's going to happen. We're not, you know what I mean? Like, we're always have to be ready for the unexpected because that's our job.
You have to adapt.
To adapt to the unexpected all the time. And you have to know how to, all the tools you have to know how to apply them to do that. And some people have the tools, but the motherfuckers have a wrench when they need a hammer. Oh,
They don't know how to apply. They don't know how to apply that.
They got all the tools. The motherfuckers took out a drill when they should have taken a hammer out. You know, they just all the tools are there, but they don't know which tool to use.
let's jump to speaking of talking about people who just we call it, you call it stage fright, we call it whatever.
Yep.
We call it. It is
Yep.
what it is.
Yeah.
Let's touring, right? Let's talk about touring.
Yep.
You're known for your touring in residences,
Mm-hmm.
including the famous month-long residency at
the
Blue Night in New York.
Yeah.
This past fall, that residency returned for the first time since the
COVID.
pandemic. I'm doing my research.
For sure.
But first of all, how did you handle those things when things were shut down and touring wasn't on the table for you?
Man, it was. I mean, God bless me. Like, luckily, I was able to still be cool without having to leave town and travel and stuff, because I monetize my music in different ways. It's not just touring. And this was a wake-up call for a lot of musicians, most musicians, because they depend on touring so much for money. But I do film scoring. I score films, I score movies, you know what I mean? And so when the touring stopped, I just went hard on the scoring stuff, you know what I mean? And that literally just helped me stay afloat and do what I need to do. And also I built this place here. This is my studio.
Mm.
And I built this in the back of my house. You know what I mean? Because before I didn't have a studio. This was an apartment, somebody else's apartment, my landlord's apartment. And during COVID, she moved out of this and moved into the building. So this was just back here. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this a studio. So I was able to do my whole I have an album coming out in February, Black Radio 3. I did the whole thing here in this place. You know what I mean? And so that was also a good thing that came out of the pandemic. You know what I mean? Me making sure that I have other means of making money and surviving through my music, and also making this studio to where now I don't have to go to somebody else's studio and be on their dime. You know what I mean?
You're pandemic ready now.
I'm pandemic. I'm here. I'm ready, Jack. I wish there would be another pandemic. I'll slap that pandemic in the damn face. You ain't ready for
what has it been like, now that pandemic and people back out, people touring, people doing their thing, musicians is back out, feeling comfortable with, they making money, they touring. How, like, what has it been like returning to the stage?
It's been amazing, man. Like being without people for 2 years, damn near, it was terrible. You realize how much you need the audience to do a show, a real show. Because I was doing so many streaming things, and it's not the same.
Right.
You're not getting that love right back. I'm used to the immediate. Like I'm sure the same. I'm wondering how it was for y'all. You make a shot, it's like, you get the immediate. Imagine making a shot, not hearing shit. Like, that's weird.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. You know what I mean? And and that whole adrenaline is gone, and the connection you have with people that really truly love your music. You can see that in people's reactions and their vibe and their faces at the show. You know what I mean? I would feed off that. So, going back to the Blue Note was really the wake-up call, because then you got people a lot of people that came there was their first time being out since the pandemic to a show. They would tell me, this is our first time, you could feel the love, and all the artists and musicians I had falling through, even some people, a bunch of unexpected people. That's the thing about the residency, is a lot of people just pull up unexpected, you know what I mean? And we jump up, they jump on stage and do stuff, and everybody just wanted to be in front of people and just be in there. And it was just so great, man. It was great. You know,
Is jazz the only genre that can happen to? Like you get the blue note and it's just like fuck whoever here, we jumping on stage, like
that's
you get in where you fit in.
that's not even no. It's more than just jazz because my thing wasn't even jazz. I got to be honest. I had a few weeks of jazz, few days of jazz, few weeks of jazz, but a lot of my stuff is hip hop. I have a group with Common.
Yes, of course.
It's called August Green. We did a week of August Green. We had Q-Tip fall through, you know, Black Thoughts fall through, you know, like, you know, just a lot of cat. Black Moon, Buckshot from Black Moon, you know, fell through. You know, Lecrae. I don't know if you know Lecrae.
Yeah, I love Lecrae for sure.
He fell through, but a lot of my stuff is R&B and hip hop. I had El DeBarge my last 2 days as my special surprise guest. So we did a bunch of DeBarge stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had Lettucey for Bilal. You know, so my stuff isn't always just jazz. It's a mixture of all kinds of things. You know what I mean? So I think with that, a lot of people. It's known. My thing is known for people just falling through, and the comedy thing because you know I have Chappelle a few days and Chris Rock fall through a few days, and other comedians from just across the street because there's a comedy cellar right across the street too. You know what I mean? So it's just open to it's colorful. It's colorful. Just everybody, all walks of life, all kinds of cats come through and jump on and just do stuff. You know what I mean? So it's always fun in that respect. You know, but most of my shows become like that. You know what I mean? Like cats know if I'm doing the show, you know, it's gonna be that vibe. You know
Absolutely. I mean? Everybody coming out for sure.
Yeah.
What should fans know about, you know, attending one of your shows? Like they because they all have a very unique character to them, each one of your shows.
Exactly. And the thing about my shows is too, you don't know, it depends on because some people are a fan of my trio, my straight up jazz trio stuff, which is like I said, Mood was one of them for 2002, Canvas 2005, In My Element 2007, and Double Booked was kind of half and half 2009. So my and then I get Black radio stuff. So I have in my audience sometimes it's very straight up jazz people who love my jazz thing, and then sometimes it's my R&B people who love my R&B stuff, and then sometimes it's just a straight up hip hop fans. You know what I mean? Because I'm a Jay Dilla head. I work with Dilla. You know what I mean? I got to literally work with Dilla at his crib for 2 weeks with Bilal. You know what I mean? We became friends and, you know, making beats and stuff. And so, you know, I have my hip hop audience too. So the audience looks like that when you come to my show, because I don't even say a lot of times what it is. It's just Robert Glasper. You'll see what it's gonna be when you pop up. And they don't know what's gonna happen. I've had so many. I've had Bill Withers walk out on my show. You know what I mean? It's just super random and to me too, because a lot of times I don't be knowing what's gonna happen. Once I get there, you know, I look at the phone, so-and-so's about to pull up. Oh shit, you pulling up? Oh, cool. Or my manager be like, so-and-so's here. I'm like, oh snap.
Hold on, so y'all perform Lean on Me? Just
He came out. No, so here's the deal. We almost did. I did on my album Black Radio 2, there's a deluxe version of that album, which has like 4 extra songs. And we did Lovely Day, right?
Oh.
So at the studio here in LA, at Westlake Studios, we did Lovely Day. We did it as a sound check. It wasn't even supposed to be on the album. We just did it for fun as a sound check. Just to get sounds when you pull up stuff, get sound. Right. We did Lovely Day. We never played it ever, not even live, nothing. Did it one time. My boy was there. He was like, yo, I know Bill Withers. He was like, I'm going to call him and tell him you did Lovely Day. He called Bill, put me on the phone with Bill, right? I talked to him for a minute. I was like, oh, man, honored to meet you, man. He's like, yeah, son, I wish I could hear what you did. Hung up the phone. Dude, a few minutes later, Bill Withers walks up the steps at the studio. We like, oh, snap. He's like, play me the song. Played the song. Boom, boom. He loved it. We became cool. And he came out to like, he came out to like 2 or 3 of my shows, but this one particular show, on that song on my album, we do a skit, and he opens up the song on the album.
I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that as soon as we hang up.
He's like, hey, Robert, when you going to play one of my songs? You big knuckle. And so, you know, we start laughing and shit. So he did that live at the show. You know, he came out. I started singing Lovely Day in a fucked up voice on purpose, jokingly. and the crowd was like, no. And then Bill Withers walks out, bro. When I tell you, everybody went bananas.
The setup.
He was one of those guys. He didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? That was the whole thing. You never saw Bill Withers. He was just one of them cats that never went anywhere.
That's why that's why I asked that. Like, damn, y'all performed that? Like, shit.
Man, it was an honor. But that's one of those things. Like, it's to the point where I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm excited for my show. By the way, I'm doing one January 30th, the night before the Grammys. I'm doing a show out here. If you're going to be in LA. But
if we here, I'm there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm there for sure.
Yeah.
What's so next steps, right? And let's talk about kind of what you're focused on. And switching gears a bit. Like you released some new music in the fall. And and that song Slide, right? It's like can fans expect more of that?
Yeah. So it's that was a joint I did with D Smoke and Tiffany Goucher, Shine. It came out October. Matter of fact, it came out the day, like pretty much the week I started my residency at the same time. And so that's from Black Radio 3. And I have many more songs. We're gonna release another single in January. We're literally finishing up the video. I'm waiting to see the last video treatments of it. We did a video for it and everything. And then the album's gonna come out in February, some point in February. Black Radio 3 record. And then I'm doing a lot of some scoring. You know what I mean? So, matter of fact, I'm scoring. You heard about that Lakers the Lakers?
Absolutely, the series. Yep.
The series. Showtime.
Yep.
But it's going to be on HBO Max. That shit fucks me up every time. No, Showtime is on HBO Max. So I'm scoring that film with my boy Nick Breitel, who's amazing. And so it's been, dude. That have you seen any clips yet?
I saw a couple. I saw some snippets of it.
Woo, boy.
It looks official.
It's official, bro. I've seen so far, because we've so far started scoring the first 3 episodes. You know what I mean? But it's official, bro. I even went down to this. I went down to where they were shooting, and I met old dude that playing Magic and met Kareem. They casted their ass off on this.
No,
man.
they did. I saw that. That was A1. What they did with the casting for sure.
Man, absolutely. So I'm really having fun with that. We're going to actually do a lot more. I'm going to New York next week, and we're going to do some studio sessions there for it. Right after Christmas, we're going to do a few studio sessions and finish that up. And I'm also scoring the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air series. So it's the serious version, because the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, actually, it's a true story about a real guy. But Quincy Jones took it and made it funny with Will Smith. So now they're telling the true story of it. So it's the serious version of it. So me and my boy Terrace Martin are scoring that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. It's that. Woo, that's amazing. It's great. So I'm really happy about those particular 2 things: the Lakers the Lakers series and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then I'm putting out the record in February. I go on tour in March to Europe. I haven't been to Europe in over 2 years. You know what I mean? So obviously since the pandemic. I was in London when the pandemic hit America.
What was that like?
I was in London, because I did 4 nights at this club in London, a new club. Everything was great, killing. And I was supposed to fly to Miami. No, that's what it was. So the last night of the show, we start hearing buzz about what's happening. Oh, some kind of virus happened in America. I'm like, oh, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And the next day I had to fly to Miami. I flew to Miami, and I had a show the next day after I landed. But as soon as I flew there, people got COVID in the place I was going to, and so as soon as I got to land Miami, it was locked down. Clock. The day after I left London, and the very next day, I got locked down in Miami. I stayed in Miami for like 2 weeks, me and my lady, because they didn't know what, it's like, don't go to New York, don't go to LA, they didn't know what to do. So we're just like, let's just stay at this hotel by the beach and figure this out and see what's happening.
And I was saying for those who may not know, that you was nominated for Best Progressive R&B Album for Dinner Party, Dessert, and Best Traditional R&B Performance for Born Again, and that was with by Leon Bridges, and featuring yourself. So how do you feel about that project? or those projects, and the recognition that came along with it, that comes along with that.
This is Dinner Party Dessert. The dessert got nominated for a Grammy this year for Best Progressive R&B album. This is like a remix of Dinner Party. So just has a bunch of special guests on there. Snoop narrates the whole thing. We got Rhapsody on there. Bilal's on there. A bunch of people on there. It's Herbie Hancock made an appearance on there for us and stuff. So really excited about that. That's my boy Terrace Martin. I've known him since I was 15 years old. We went to jazz camp together. So we started this dinner party group. You know what I mean? And it's just me, Ninth Wonder, amazing producer Mike Wonder, and Kamasi.
Absolutely.
Washington.
Big shout out to Ninth.
Yeah, shout out to Ninth, Kamasi Washington, another amazing musician, and Terrace. We actually came up with this during the pandemic. You know what I mean? So we did this record really like just sending files to each other. That's how we did it, really. So it came out cool. And the Leon Bridges song is dope, man. I've been a fan of Leon. So, and that happened during the pandemic as well, you know. And that song, Born Again, it really is kind of based out of the pandemic when you listen to the words and stuff too. You know, it's kind of about being alone and missing your family and missing your friends. Yet you like being alone too. You know what I mean?
Right. Of course. That's what the pandemic did to you.
Yeah, you found out about yourself more and all this stuff. So it's been great, man. It's been great.
Damn. Congratulations on all of that for sure.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna bring it all back to kind of to what's in your glass. I just have a couple quick fire questions for you to close us out. Myself and then the people, we always like to know what's in your glass on some certain occasions. It doesn't have to be labeled specifically, whatever. But what's your go-to when you're on vacation?
Any drink?
I don't give a fuck what it is. It can be whatever you want.
I'm a goose person. I love the goose.
Straight
up. No, well, I could do straight up too, but I like Grey Goose. I like it with pineapple or cranberry mix. Okay. I'm pretty easy. I love that vibe.
All right. So
Grey Goose
if you Grey Goose on a vacation. If you're out to dinner at a nice restaurant.
Yeah. If I'm out to dinner at a nice restaurant, I'll do a white wine, like a Pinot Grigio or a Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay. You celebrating. I got one. You celebrating your first Grammy Award.
That's champagne.
What champagne?
That was. I wish I knew what it was, but I know we're drinking a lot of champagne. But if I have, we're drinking a lot of champagne. But a little Don P wouldn't don't hurt. You know what I'm saying? A little Moet.
Okay.
Moet was my first. I like Don P though.
Indeed. Big shout out to Moet for sure. If I'm
in a hip hop club, you know what I'm saying? Cristal, depends on who I'm partying with. I know what it's gonna be.
We go Moet. We'll go with Moet. We'll go Moet. Big Jared bombs and Moet.
You know what I mean? For sure.
You're celebrating a win at this upcoming Grammys this January.
Yeah. I'm celebrating the win. Oh, we're probably gonna do shots. We're probably we'll do shots of tequila. We're gonna do shots of Patron.
Patron. Oh, you just going right for the gusto, huh?
We do Patron.
That Patron. Okay. So
what about you?
If I'm winning the Grammy?
If you win in the championship this year.
We definitely champagning it up.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm going straight to red wine. Like I gotta go. I have to have the best of the best at that moment.
Really? The red wine? See, red wine make me sleepy. I can't do red wine unless I'm about to go to sleep. It makes me too, for lack of a better word,
mellow.
But it does. It makes me mellow as hell. I'll be ready to go to sleep. That's why I don't do dark liquor either. Dark liquor makes me sleepy and makes me a little bit feisty, makes me a little angry.
Yeah, but see the red wine, when you start getting to the, you know what I mean? And you start getting up there to the top shelf, then you start seeing the difference.
Okay.
So that's not.
So you said I get cheap shit. You said I get.
I don't have nothing against box wine. I don't have.
So I should stop. I should stop buying my wine at CVS. Is what you're saying? I should stop going to CVS for my wine.
CVS got good wine. They got good selections. I'm just saying, if you winning a Grammy or you winning a championship, you ain't going to CVS. That's all I'm saying.
For sure.
Nah, bro. I again, man. In closing, bro, I just want to say thank you, man. And
absolutely.
I want to give you your flowers, bro, because what you bring into the game and just your diversity and how you're able to, like I said it earlier, adapt, to the genre and just bring your own swag and your soul and just your expertise and then being able to figure it out on the fly and not being pigeonholed or letting other people box you in, being able to be free and do what you want to do. So you deserve your flowers now, man. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for a glass.
Thanks for having me on here, bro. It's an honor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Best of luck with everything you have going on right now. The scores, the TV shows, the album coming out, the touring. And also I want to thank the audience who tuned in this week. Please follow, rate, review What's in Your Glass. As you all know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also check out the video releases each week on YouTube. Again, man, I just want to virtual cheers to you.
Boom.
You right up the block for me, man. So when
absolutely.
Once you start getting in that stew, I gotta come check you out.
Absolutely. I'm gonna hit you. I guess we'll do it real quick on IG. Are that your IG?
Yeah, that's mine.
I'm gonna hit you right now in the DM just to give you my info. You can hit me.
Copy. We go from there. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Cheers, bro.
Absolutely.